Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we're talking about what if Deku never got one for all. So, in the last video we talked about how after being trained by Skahawk, he was being trained pretty much brutally. And to the point that he has to get several different types of rune magic to basically heal his body because let's just say some of his arms are dislocated and his legs feel like they're in complete shit. Figuratively and literally. Don't even ask about that, the literally part. Anyway, so, after like a few years of training, even though in the real world, or the world that's not, you basically get it. Even though it's basically just like, in that world, or specifically the realm that Izuku is basically training in, aka the Land of Sky and Shadow, it's basically it doesn't have it has a weird time zone type of thing because every minute there is like a few years there. Actually, it's more like a few months. So basically now when he was in that realm, he's basically now 20 years old, but when he comes out he's now 15 because in that, well, when he first came into that place, or the Land of Sky and Shadow, where he's going to be training, he was 14 at the time. So yeah, after a while of basically training, they're basically feeling like it was, like a few more years there, he would be told that it's going to be his final day, but before he's going to be finally getting out of this place, he would have to defeat Kairoid, said to be the monster that was fashioned, or at least his body parts were fashioned, to make the spear guy Bolga itself. After defeating it and also getting his eye ripped out, not really ripped out, more like getting poisoned to the point that he can't even see through that eye anymore, he would leave. And as for, well, Cucullin, he would disappear because he's now has his legacy brought on because of Izuku. He's basically Cucullin's successor. He can finally rest in peace, now finally going to the afterlife. And as for Skahawk, she'll be gladly, waiting for Izuku, because she is kind of like a good teacher to him, even though Izuku's probably never going to come back, like at all. So yeah, after Izuku came out of that world, he would go on a yacht to go sail back to Japan. And so, that was basically what happened last episode, and so, let's talk about what happens next. And also, before we actually start the actual video, I want all of you guys to comment down below for a ship, because I don't really have any ideas. Maybe Mirko, but basically, I just want all of you guys to pick in the comments. Any type of shift would do, because I think that some of your ideas are quite interesting to say the least. So let's just continue the episode. So, when Izuku does come back to Japan, everybody was basically looking at him. Not really looking at him, it's more like, well, they're looking at him because for some reason, Izuku's quite tall. About like 6.5 feet tall, to say the least. I don't know how tall that is, but I'm pretty much short, and my little brother is basically just towering over me. I'm not even joking. I'm the oldest out of all of them, and my little brother, the middle child, is technically taller than me. And that's just saying something. I'm not even joking. So, because of this, people think that he's probably an adult. Even though when they saw the little, picture, or should I say the passport that he gave to the, to the, what do you actually call them? I think they're called, let me just check. Actually, I couldn't find a name for that type of person, or whatever you want to call it, so I'm just gonna call it Belmont, because why not? So, after the Belmont saw his passport, it turns out that he's 15, and he was kind of, really surprised. So, he decides to just, well, I seen weirder things, so I mean, in this world, there's basically quirks, so they think it's probably just like a little bit of like a weird ass like gigantification quirk, kind of, I guess. So yeah, because of this, he would get weird stares. After this, they finally made it to Japan as Izuku is finally excited. Not really excited, not like, finally going back to Japan so he can see his parents, mostly his sister, and also Bakugo, which he just like, yeah, Bakugo, just like he's completely pissed off at them. And he would decide to get off the yacht by literally jumping over the railing and basically jumping and going onto the port as everybody was terrified that he was about to fall off and basically knock his head off or something like that. But one of them, specifically a guard, would say this: "Hey, that was absolutely freaking dangerous. What were you thinking?" As he would say this: "Hey, at least I'm not a fucking coward or something like that. Anyway, I should be leaving." As he would grab his bags as he starts moving out. So, after moving through through like the port, as he would get a taxi to go back to maybe like a nearby like city near to his old home. Let me just check first. Let's just say it like a random like city. When he does, he would think that he should probably get an apartment or something like that. So, during the drive through the city, they would get interrupted as a villain would arrive. This villain being a gigantic ass one to say the least, as a certain hero was basically fighting him. In this case, the hero by the name Mount Lady. After Izuku saw this, he would say to himself, "Are you sure that's a fucking hero or something from a..." Actually, I'm not gonna say it because I probably might get demonetized. I'll give you a hint. It ends with hub. Anyway, let's just continue. So, when Izuku saw this, the driver would start running away, leaving his car, as when the villain saw the car, he would grab it, as he would look inside seeing Izuku. He would tell not Lady, I meant Mount Lady, yeah. He would tell Mount Lady if he were to, if she were to get closer, he would crush the car, killing the civilian. After Izuku heard this, he would say to himself, "Wait, does he really think that he can actually kill me?" As Izuku would come out of the car, as he would try to flee, as he would get grabbed by the villain, as he would say this: oh, trying to run away, huh? Sorry, kid, but unfortunately you're gonna die here." As he would say this: Seriously? I mean, I'm quite strong, but it doesn't mean that I'm weak. I mean, as one of them would say this, being, what is her name? Being Mount Lady, she would say this: "Don't worry, I'll save you." As Izuku would say this: "Do I seriously need saving?" He would sigh as Izuku would basically break out of his, hold easily, as he would jump down to the ground. God dang it. Sorry about that. So, after dropping down to the ground and causing a bit crater, everybody would be surprised, basically surrounding Izuku, as they're basically just taking pictures of, Mount Lady, as several other heroes would decide to come in and try to save Izuku, even though he can clearly just defeat, the guy in an instant, because after being trained by Skahak, aka a trader in several mythological heroes from Irish mythology, including Cuchulainn himself, after the villain saw this, he would try to squash the heroes, including Izuku. As would run, but Izuku would not, Mount Lady would try to catch him and try to save him. But a certain bunny girl would arrive. A girl with tan, or should I say dark skin, with bunny ears and a bunny tail would arrive and see Izuku about to get crushed. She would say, "Seriously? Is he not running? What is he, suicidal?" As she would start jumping towards Izuku, as Izuku would just think, "How annoying." As he would see Miracle coming towards him, but it's still pretty slow because in Izuku's perception, he can clearly see that she's kind of a bit slow, even though Izuku is basically just a Lancer. If you don't know in actual Fate lore, they're pretty decisive in their blows. They basically see slower like actions much more easily, so they can precisely kill their enemies thanks to their spears or whatever. So when Izuku saw this, he would say to himself, "Does he? Do they really think that I really need saving? This is absolutely pissing me off." As Izuku would say this, "Well, I've been looking for a good fight anyway, so..." After cracking his knuckles, he would summon Guy Bolga. After the heroes and also Mount Lady and also, Miracle saw this, Izuku would say this, "Well, you damn giant. You seriously want to piss me off?" Then, as you would throw the spear on top of his foot, not really on top, more like at the bottom of his foot, as he would scream out, "Guy Bolg!" as his foot would just be punctured beyond repair. It's basically just like reverse acupuncture. So basically, it like all of the spears, as in the needles, would basically kind of literally come out of his foot. As after he got that feeling, he would scream and fall down. Izuku would grab the spear, as he would say this, "Take this," as he would basically create a big ass punch. Just imagine Saitama level shit. So he would basically punch the gigantic ass villain so far that he would get knocked out and transforms back into his normal size. After Izuku saw that, he would say this, "I think I did a bit much." Whatever. He would, basically he was wearing a hoodie at the time, so he would put down his hoodie over his face as he starts going back to his usual walk. After all, the car or the taxi is basically just destroyed. Everybody would see this as they started taking pictures of him. Mount Lady and Miracle would see this as both of them would say, "Damn, he's strong." As both of them would look at each other as Miracle would say this, "Why didn't you freaking save him? You were closer than me." As would say this, "You were supposed to be faster than me, then why didn't you just save him?" They're basically just arguing as everybody would just like, "Ooh, sexy ladies fighting." So they basically started recording that instead. I mean, they still have pictures of Izuku, but still. So, after a while of walking, he would find a nice apartment. I mean, it's kind of similar to Izuku's apartment back when he was, super weak at the time, but it's still, a bit manageable. So, after coming into to the reception, he would ask to maybe have a room. After getting his room, he would put down all of his stuff as he would say this, "Ah, much better. I should probably also get a job as well. Oh, yeah." As he would grab one of his bags, as he would grab several stones. These stones are actually runes. After he grabs one of these runes, he would also get some confirmation. In this case, some confirmation about, the whereabouts of what happened here. Ever since he basically, ran away. Apparently, the last, wait for a second. The last entrance exam of UA basically ended, and it's, let's just say, this is basically after the whole, what is that called? The heroes versus villain fight. So, yeah. So, we're gonna be currently in almost the part where there's going to be not the UA Sports Festival, it's the USJ, incident. So, yeah. So, after, using this rune, he would find out that the UA, entrance exam is basically over now. And as for some other things, It turns out that Bakugo is still being a bit of a dickhead. And as for Izumi good, but he still thinks that Izumi is completely a liar, and thinks that she probably lied so he can, be a bit nicer to her and manipulate him. So yeah, he's still pretty much pissed off at her. And as for his mother, well, the rune would basically just explode because of overuse for some odd reason, as Izuku would say this. Oh shit. Anyway, he would start stretching as he would say this. Well, I guess I should probably find somewhere to work at. So, after looking around, he would find a nice looking pizza joint. So, after going in, he would ask if there's anybody in the position or something. What do I mean by this? Well, he wants to have a job here. So, the owner would come out as he would say, oh yeah, we've been looking for maybe a bodyguard. As he would say this. A bodyguard? For a pizza joint? As he would say this. Oh right, let me explain. He would just tell him to go into the back, as they would explain that this is not only a pizza joint, it's actually a drug cartel. Yeah, apparently this drug cartel is seeking in some Colombian nose candy. Colombian nose candy. Or angel dust. I'm sorry, but I couldn't help it. So, after being explained, Izuku would hesitate but says okay, as he would say this. And also, I also want you to maybe protect my daughter. As he would say this. Protect your daughter? Then who is she? As he would say this. Well, her name is Miyatsumi. And I'm her father. You can call me Mr. Hatsumi for now. So, will you accept this job? As he would say this. Sure, but unfortunately I'm quirkless, so... As he would say this. Just as long as you have skills in battle, I don't really care if you're quirkless or a quick user. Maybe even criminal. As Izuku would say this. I see. As he would say this. I just realized. What is with your accent? As he would say this. What's with my accent? I mean, well, I did train in Ireland for a while now. As he would say this. Irish, I see. Oh. As Izuku would say this. How about you? You have a weird-ass accent yourself. I mean, I can barely, understand you. As he would say this. Well, I'm technically Russian, but more Slavic than anything else. Anyway. So, your first job is probably just going to do some work outside and just protective case, burglar or something like that. Maybe even robber. As Izuku would say this. Sure, I guess. So, after being told of this, he would decide to leave so he can start his first day tomorrow. So, after leaving, he would bump into a person. This person has pink hair. As Izuku would say this. Oh, what the? As she would say this. Oh, sorry. Hello there. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, don't worry. As she would say this. You sound like a foreigner, even though you speak Japanese. Perhaps are you as he would say this. Well, I am technically a foreigner. I did work, or at least trained in Ireland, so... As she would say this. Ireland? That actually sounds cool. Anyway, I should be leaving now. As he would say this. Anyway, you kinda dropped this. As she would say this. Thank you. That's one of my inventions. I'm actually a member of the support course in UA. As he would say this. Support course, eh? I see. I should be leaving now. See ya. As she would say this. Thank you, and can you please tell me your name? Because, as he would say this. The name's Izuku. Izuku Satanta. As she would say this. Izuku Satanta. Huh. I see. The Sia. As Izuku would say this. Sia. As he would start leaving, after going back home, he would start unpacking things and also putting them in their right place. After doing that, he would basically go to sleep. The next day comes as it's his first day doing his brand new job as technically a bodyguard of a pizza joint, but it's actually a drug cartel. So, after being told that his first job is just going to protect the, restaurant in case of a burglar or something like that, he would wake up early as he would stay outside for the rest of the day. So, he would just look around in case of a burglar coming in. So, he would just wear nothing but a black, let's just say like a black hoodie. Under that is just like a normal ass t-shirt and a black jeans and also some black shoes. So, after staying in the basically in the sun for a while now, he was told to go back inside by the owner, aka Mr. Hatsumi. As Mr. Hatsumi would say this. You're actually pretty good, kid. By the way, I actually wanted to ask, how old are you? As he would say this. I'm 15. As he would say this. Wait, what? Wait, you're 15? I assumed you to be much older. Maybe like, 18 or something like that. As he would say this. Oh, I get that a lot. I think it's just because of my training most of the time. As he would say this. I see. That actually kinda startled me a little. Anyway, I want you to bring all these special Colombian nose candy. This is actually good high quality stuff. As he would say this. Really? As he would say this. Yeah, we need to bring it to a certain client. I can't remember his name all that much, but it ends in 1 or something like that. As he would say this. 1? Huh. Okay. So, he would start using his Gaibolga to basically, that scene in like Mulan, where they're basically just like grabbing the buckets by using these sticks. Just imagine like that, but he would use Gaibolga instead of that wooden stick. As he would say this. That's in... Wait, you said that you were quirkless, but you clearly have quirk. As he would say this. Sorry, but unfortunately that's not a quirk. I guess you can say that it's... a weapon? I guess? For self-defense. As he would say this. I see. So, did you get that from black market? As he would say this. Yeah, I guess you can say that. So, after carrying all of these, Colombian nose candy into the trucks, they would start leaving, as he would say this. Good. No. And as he would get a knock at the door, and that voice sounded familiar to Izuku. Hey, Dad? I wanted to ask, can we have some money? As he would say this. Oh, that must be my daughter. As Izuku would say this. Your daughter? Wait, that sounded familiar. As after opening the door, that was the girl that was, the support course student. As she would say this. Wait. Izuku? As he would say this. Wait. You're that... As he would say this. Wait. You finally met... Are you perhaps... As he would start glaring at Izuku, as he would say this. What are you looking at me for? As she would say this. Oh, we just met. He kind of helped me after I, accidentally bumped into him. As he would say this. I see. And are you perhaps having certain relationship? as he would start glaring at Izuku again, as Izuku would say this, "Oh, hold on, it isn't like that, sir." As he would say this, "I better hope so. Anyway, so, are you, okay, my little daughter? And here," as he would grab a big fat stack of cash from his pocket, as Izuku would say this, or at least in his mind, "Damn, he's rich. I mean, it makes sense." As he would say this, "Here," as she would say this, being, May. "Oh, thank you, Dad. And Izuku, what are you working for, or why are you even here in the first place?" As Izuku would say this, "Well, I'm actually working here, so..." As she would say this, "You're working for my dad? Are you perhaps a chef? Wait, do you love making pizzas as well? I mean, I can definitely see why, but I prefer machinery and also making new inventions for heroes." As he would say this, heroes. Uh, anyway, I'm just working here for part-time, yeah." As he would say this, "Yes, he's just working part-time. And are you actually, never mind. You should leave now. We're going to be doing something much more important." As she would say this, "Okay, Dad." As she starts going up the stairs, as she would go back into her almost like actual home. Basically, the bottom stairs, or the actual like entrance of that building, is basically the pizzeria, and the top floor is just basically a regular old home for the Hatsumi family. As Mr. Hatsumi would say this, "If you do any moves on my daughter, I will kill you." As he would say this, "I promise you I'm not even dating her." As he would say this, "You better be." Anyway, perhaps another day then, Mr. Izuku. As he would say this, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you my last name. It's Satanta. Izuku Satanta." As he would say this, "Very well then, Mr. Izuku Satanta. I should be leaving now. And as for you, here's your pay." You would get a big wad of cash. Specifically about like, a few dozen yen. As he would say this, "Oh, hell yeah." As he would say this, "Hell yeah indeed. Anyway, you should be leaving now, because probably the police might come very soon." As he would say this, "You're joking, right?" As he would say this, "I promise you I am joking. Besides, if the police were to, I don't know, to recognize this place as a drug dealing courtship or whatever, we can just bribe them, or let's just say have them executed." As Izuku would say this, "Right. Anyway, bye." As he would say this, "Bye-bye." So, after that day, he would go to sleep. So, yeah, this is basically the end of this episode, but before you leave, I want all of you guys to pick in the comments for a ship. So, yeah. So, I hope you liked the video, comment, and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye-bye!